What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another New York Giants video. And in this video, it's all the fans have been waiting for. It is my 2022 New York Football Giants mock draft. Folks, before I dive any further, make sure to go check us out on all of our social media platforms on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Big Blue Avenue. Appreciate all the support that we've gotten. Make sure to go check out our latest film breakdowns on Nakobe Dean, Derek Stingley Jr., and Leo Chenal. I'm going to try to get out one on the tight end room early tomorrow morning, and one of my favorite running backs that fly under the radar heading into this 2022 draft. But without further ado, I present my 2022 New York Football Giants mock draft. Draft day is almost here. It's a day away. I'm really pumped and excited. Now, of course, the Giants have 2 top 10 picks this year, thanks to the trade back with the Chicago Bears this year. And I think a lot of Giants fans agree there's a consensus around the organization and the fan base that everybody wants an offensive tackle to be taken 5th overall. Now, there's 3 prospects that stand out. There's Ike Ekwonu, there's Evan Neal, and there's Charles Cross. A lot of people argue that Ike has the highest ceiling, but also has the lowest floor, high risk, high reward type of tackle, who also stated he views himself as a left tackle in the NFL. So this narrowed my choices down to Evan Neal and Charles Cross for 5th overall. And if you remember, I did a video on Charles Cross about a month ago saying that he would be the ideal fit for the Giants at right tackle. But in this particular mock draft, the way I see this mock draft going, I have the Jets going defense at number 4. Houston could go either way, but I think we're going to get Evan Neal at number 5 overall, the offensive tackle out of Alabama. And now I know everyone's concerned. Everybody is mocking Evan Neal to the Giants. Everybody thinks Neal is going to be the guy. And whoever fans think is going to be the guy happens to never be the guy. And I totally understand where that side of the fan base is coming from. And I'm also a believer that this pick could be too good to be true. But in this mock draft, I think Evan Neal fits our needs. He's played left guard, right tackle, and left tackle in his 3 years, respectively, at the University of Alabama. And I think he'd be the safest pick for the Giants at number 5 overall as far as offensive tackles go. I think he'll make the most seamless transition to the right tackle position to play alongside of Andrew Thomas, who we drafted 2 years ago. And I think Joe Schoen, the biggest priority is to fix this O-line once and for all, right? You build from the inside out. There's no need to take a quarterback here. There's no need to take any, skill position here. They could go defense, but I think Evan Neal is the pick at number 5 overall. Just love the versatility he brings to the game. Great run blocker and an above-average pass protector. Now, moving on to number 7, there's a few options for the Giants, and it all depends for me on who the Jets take at number 4. If Sauce Gardner is on the board at number 7, that's the pick. But I don't think he's going to be on the board. I think the Jets would be silly to pass up on Sauce Gardner because of the wide receivers they have to go up against in their division and their lack of depth in the cornerback room. So for me, this player has been falling in a lot of mock drafts. There's some issues about not really his character, but more of his work ethic and if he can handle the media, this and that. And, I think ultimately it could be Kayvon Thibodeaux landing to the Giants at number 7 overall, edge rusher out of Oregon. We know the steam is either Hutchinson or Walker at number 1, and then whoever isn't will be the number 2 overall pick. Houston's a wild card. They could come around and take Kayvon Thibodeaux, Lovie Smith being a defensive-minded coach. The Jets could also take Thibodeaux there as well. But I think the Giants end up landing Kayvon Thibodeaux, number 7 overall. Other options I considered are the Giants trading back. They could easily trade back from this pick. I do think it is somewhat likely. I'm not going to say it's very likely, but if, let's say, Kayvon Thibodeaux and Sauce Gardner are not on the board, you're absolutely trading back from 7 overall to gain capital for future years, as the Giants only have 9 draft picks. The thing I love about Kayvon Thibodeaux is his wide array of pass rushing moves, and he is a plus run supporter on that defensive front. And a lot of people complain, well, who's going to replace Dalvin Tomlinson, who left the team over a year ago now? Well, they couldn't find the replacement in 2021. They could easily shift Dexter Lawrence inside to nose tackle and put Kayvon Thibodeaux with his hand in the dirt opposite of Leonard Williams. That could temporarily fix the Giants' defensive line and run stuffing problems. Now, in round 2, I went a little bit outside of the box. This is a guy who I think would fit very well in Wink Martindale's defensive scheme. Now, I know the priority for me at least is to fix the offensive line once and for all in this NFL draft, but I'm going to go with a guy that I think could really solve an issue we've had for, I'd say, about 20 years now, since Antonio Pierce. And I'm going with linebacker Leo Chenal out of Wisconsin. Now, for those of you who remember, 3 years ago, we drafted a linebacker in the 4th round. That was Ryan Connolly out of Wisconsin. Had a promising start, tore his ACL. Giants cut him the following offseason, right before cutdown day. Well, this instance, I think Leo Chenal, outstanding tackler in the running game, and he can blitz the quarterback. He is a good blitzing linebacker. His coverage is average, but I think you want to pair him inside with Blake Martinez. I think the Giants need to upgrade that position. They did not bring back Reggie Ragland. Tay Crowder is a nice player, but he's not a guy you want to rely on being that number 2 linebacker, especially if Blake is not fully recovered from that torn ACL, which I think he will be. But Leo Chenal is a guy who fits perfectly in this Wink Martindale scheme. 100-plus tackles at Wisconsin this season, a couple of sacks as well. He has been absolutely outstanding, and I think he'd be a great fit and fix the Giants linebacker issue. Again, Giants can't cover tight ends. I think he's an average coverage player. In my film breakdown of him a couple days ago, he did have a good coverage rep against the Iowa tight end in that game, so we'll see. But I think Leo Chenal, if the Giants are going to take him, they have to take him at number 36. There's also other options. They could go Sky Moore. They could go Nick Bonito. I'm not sure what they're going to do. They could go that safety out of Georgia, Cade. There's been rumors about him. So we'll see what happens, right? It's all going to come down to tomorrow night. But Luke Goedecke, guard out of Central Michigan, is my 3rd-round pick at number 67 overall. I don't think Cole Strange is going to fall to us, unfortunately, with the way that guards were being picked early in the draft last year. I mean, hell, we saw Aaron Banks go in the 2nd round. Nobody expected that. I think Cole Strange, unfortunately, will be off the board come 67. If he's there, I think Cole Strange might be the pick because he was brought in for a top 30 visit. However, so is Luke Goedecke, the guard out of Central Michigan. Technically, he played tackle at Central Michigan, has good size, 6'5", 312, a senior. He began his career at a Division III school before transferring to Central Michigan, where he started 14 games at right tackle in 2019. He missed the 2020 season due to a knee injury. First all-team MAC in 2021, 10 starts at right tackle, opposite of Bernard Ryman, who was projected to go in the 1st round of this year's draft. The 4th or 5th ranked tackle, I'd say Ryman is. And for Goedecke, he opted out of the bowl game to prep for the NFL draft. He's a former tight end turned tackle. Good strength and quickness to succeed in any run scheme. And I think if you're the Giants, this is a guy you have to bring in if Cole Strange is off the board. He looks to move opponents. He maximizes his below average length with his punch. He is a mindful pass protector. At a guard, you want a good pass protector, right? So I think when you look at the Giants' offensive line, so far we addressed Evan Neal. So we have Andrew Thomas, Evan Neal, Mark Lewinsky, and John Feliciano as likely penciled starters for 2022. But who's going to play left guard? Could it be Shane Lemieux? Could it be Max Garcia? Could it be Ben Bredesen? I'm not so sure. It's a revolving door right there. So why not bring in Luke Goedecke as a 3rd-round pick, who I think is a more sure thing than any of those guys. But we'll see what happens. I think his awareness is also very, very awesome. And one former NFL executive actually said he's got better instincts than Bernard Ryman and could have a better pro career than him. And again, this guy, like Ryman, is drawing interest from half the field. 16 teams have shown interest in this guy at number 67. So I'd like for him to be the pick if Cole Strange is not on the board, and that's who I'm predicting to go at number 67. Number 81. Well, we all know the rumors about Saquon Barkley and that he may not come back after this year. Well, I have the Giants taking a running back at 81, and I'm not thrilled that we have to do this, but I think if there's one guy that the Giants have fallen in love with through the entire combine and pro day process, it's Georgia running back James Cook. We all know that big touchdown he made in the college football playoff this year. He's a good pass-catching running back as well. He's a good change of pace back to start, and I think he could develop into a lead running back. We all saw what Elijah Mitchell did for the San Francisco 49ers this year. It's not about when you're drafted. It's about where you're drafted, right? David Deal said that on a podcast the other day, and I think James Cook could succeed as the number 2 back behind Saquon Barkley this season. And if the Giants don't elect to bring Saquon Barkley back in 2022, James Cook very well could be the pick for the New York Giants at number 81 overall. Up next, 4th round pick, number 112. This pick is also from the Chicago Bears, and I forgot to mention 81 was from Miami, the trade back with Ojulari last year. I have the Giants taking a tight end, and it may not be the tight end that a lot of people want to hear. It's not Trey McBride. It's not Jeremy Ruckert. It's Cade Otton. Tight end out of Washington at 112 overall, and a lot of people are saying, oh, this is another Caden Smith. Yes and no. Redshirt senior, 6'5", 247. Similar build. He redshirted in 2017, but he's a 4-year starter at Washington. 2018 had 3 touchdown receptions. In 2019 had over 300 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. And in 2020, he led the Huskies in the shortened COVID season with 18 catches, 258 yards, and 3 touchdowns. First team all Pac-12. So he has the ability to be a good, reliable receiver as well. When I think you're looking at tight ends in this draft for the Giants, you like a guy like Jeremy Ruckert because he's a local guy, but I don't know if he'll be there at 112. I think the Giants have other pressing needs. Now, tight end has to be addressed because we cleaned house in the tight end room, but I think Cade Otton could be a real possibility. In 2021, he missed 4 games, 2 due to COVID protocols and 2 actually with the left foot injury, but still managed to get 28 catches on the season. Best part about him, reliable hands. You won't have to worry about drop passes much. He has good technique as a run blocker, which you love to see. He's a smart route runner that could put coverage on notice at all 3 levels, which I love. And I personally think from watching film on all these tight ends, and I'm going to try to get a tight end film session tomorrow with the big 3 that I think the Giants might be looking at, Otton might be the best at getting open in this 2022 class. So only thing about him, I think, his strength could improve, but he's getting there. Just needs a couple off seasons to work on the strength in the weight room. But heading to round number 5, again, have the Giants drafting a need that could wait, but he's a guy who attended the local pro day for the Giants, and that is Bo Melton, wide receiver out of Rutgers at 147, 5'11", 189 build. Attended the Giants local pro day. As I mentioned, he's really fast. You can't teach speed. Ran a 4.34 40-yard dash, 5th best among receivers, and a 6.98 3-cone drill, 3rd best among all wide receivers. That's unheard of for a guy coming out of Rutgers. 5-year player, had over 2,000 receiving yards in his career. In 2020, had 6 touchdown receptions on 47 catches. And in 2021, his numbers improved, 55 catches on the year, 620 yards, and he only had 3 touchdowns that year. But again, teams are more focused on him, right? One of Rutgers' best targets, and I think he could be a good depth piece in this wide receiver room. There's unknowns. Darius Slayton is entering a contract year. The rumors with Kadarius Toney, who knows what's going to happen there? I'm not really buying it yet, but we'll see what happens with that. But moving on, 5th round, number 173. This is from Kansas City through Baltimore. Have Cordell Flott, cornerback out of LSU, another top 30 visit for the Giants, a junior, 6 foot out of 175. Started all 10 games at the nickel spot in 2020. Again, we don't know what's happening with James Bradbury. Is he going to get moved? If the Giants don't draft Sauce Gardner, they may look to address the cornerback needs later on in the NFL draft. 2021, he lined up at boundary corner and nickel and safety. The versatility is there. Not to mention, Julian Love is also entering a contract year. Flott could also play some safety. So I think the versatility is something the Giants are looking for. At 41 tackles, 1 pick, and 3 passes defended in 2021. Again, this is a developmental cornerback with good speed and excellent length, good discipline in zone coverage, battles his takeoff pretty well, or battles his tail off, I should say. The one concern I have about him, he does give up too much separation, and his tackle strength is not the best. Now, this pick in the 6th round, this is just a depth piece. This is a flyer that could potentially make some noise. Again, this is another college transfer, 6th round, 182. I have John Ridgeway, defensive tackle out of Arkansas, going to the Giants. Now, again, Kayvon Thibodeaux being drafted. You get 2 defensive linemen, beef up that defensive line, add some depth. You get 2 offensive linemen. So 4 of our 9 picks were used on the trenches. And again, you get Cade Otton as well, who is good at both blocking and receiving. Ridgeway, a redshirt senior, 6'5", 321 build, a 5.3 40-yard dash. He's not fast. 4-year starter. In 2019, made 15 starts with 50 tackles, 3 in the backfield. Transferred to Arkansas in 2021, where he started 11 games, 39 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks. And now, this is what I love about Ridgeway. Primarily a nose tackle, long arms with natural power, something you need when you're trying to stuff the run. He could be a good rotational piece. I think he's an upgrade over David Moa. And you want somebody else besides Jelly Ellis clogging up the middle. And hopefully, if they draft Thibodeaux, they can move Sexy Dexy inside towards the nose tackle position. Again, this is a former state champion wrestler. So this John Ridgeway guy could be, somebody the Giants look at late. Failed to defend gaps effectively in a game against Georgia, which does concern me. He ends up on the ground too often, but that can be fixed with improved technique. And I think with Andre Patterson in the building, Ridgeway could be a nice developmental prospect that could be a rotational piece in 2022. Folks, this is my 9-pick mock draft for the New York Football Giants. So just to recap, we have Evan Neal going 5th overall in round 1. We have Kayvon Thibodeaux going 7th overall, edge rusher out of Georgia in round 1. We have Leo Chenal going at number 36, linebacker out of Wisconsin in round 2. Luke Goedecke, guard out of Central Michigan, 3rd round, 67th overall. So 2 offensive linemen with our first 4 picks. Running back James Cook, who the Giants were in love with at number 81 out of Georgia. 4th round, the Giants address a glaring tight end need, adding Cade Otton to the tight end room out of Washington. 5th round, they add a flyer receiver in Bo Melton, who attended the Giants' local pro day. Also in the 5th round, 173, Cordell Flott, adding more depth to the cornerback room with the unknown of James Bradbury and Rodarius Williams coming off an injury last year. And John Ridgeway, more depth up front for the Giants in round 6. That is my New York Giants mock draft. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. And before I go, want to plug in our sponsor, BetUS, America's #1 favorite sports book. You can get all the fastest and live bets at your mobile device. You can sign up with our promo code below at JOIN125. Get a 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,500. Again, that is BetUS, where the game begins, our proud sponsor. Now, again, folks, make sure to go check us out on all of our social media platforms below. Drop your comments in the comment section. What do you think of this mock draft? Do you like it? Would you have done something differently? Primarily the first 3 picks are the ones that I'm really honing in on, trying to get these as accurate as possible. But everything else is pretty much a crapshoot, right? It depends what happens on draft night. So I appreciate everybody's time. And without further ado, let's go Big Blue.